But Austin Trout did not fight the best Miguel Cotto. I don't think. The fight was a lot closer than they had it, but he came out victorious. And once again, I think even with the Trout and Canelo bout was a lot closer. I think that Trout was very, very hard on himself because he got knocked down, and that's something he probably never experienced before, in a fight or of that magnitude. And of course, any punch that Canelo throw, the crowd will go crazy. So that was playing a major part in the fight also. And I didn't like, I don't think the scoring was right. So like, once again, we need to clean the sport of boxing up.
How did you score that fight? Honestly.
I didn't really, it was a lot closer than what they had it.
What did you think of Canelo's performance?
I think he won just because of the knockdown. If it wasn't a knockdown, the fight could have went. It probably could have went Trout way. I think that Canelo was landing the bigger shots, but Trout was landing more shots.
Was watching that then something you saw and you said, okay, he just beat a good fighter. He's got a title. He's undefeated. Now I want to fight him because he.
No, I just look at it like this. I look at certain situations like this, not taking anything away from Canelo, because, just like me, only thing he's doing is beating who they put in front of him. That's the only thing he's doing. Even though he may beat a older Shane Mosley, or what's the boy I beat for the BC 47?
DeMarco.
No.
Baltimore.
Yeah, he may be an older Baltimore. He may be, and as far as with Trout, a guy only been in one, Trout was in a big fight, but he didn't fight the best Miguel Cotto, and then he came and got a victory over him. So, like I said before, it takes a lot to impress me, but I'm proud of Canelo. I'm proud of him. What
would you suggest boxing do to clean itself up?
I was just talking about it. I mean, you got, all within a certain small time period, you got Floyd Mayweather paying a sanctioning fee, Trout paying a sanctioning fee, and Canelo paying a sanctioning fee. I mean, within probably a year, how we are world champion within 1 year of the WBA, and they talking about all of a sudden I'm the super champion. And who did Trout win the belt from?
Cotto.
How did he win the belt from Cotto?
No, he won. He defended it against Cotto after you had beaten him.
So how did he defend the belt against Cotto if I beat Cotto for the belt?
And still a champion.
And I'm still a champion. I got the belt at my house. and I just seen the WBA sanction body as they said, Floyd, we happy that you are our champion.
He's got a belt at his house also.
At one point, Floyd, you made a statement by not paying the sanction fee you fought Shane Mosley.
It's not that. That's not what I did. Let's get one thing clear. I did not fight. I beat Shane Mosley. That wasn't a title fight. I told Shane Mosley that I will beat you and you can keep your belt. And then after that fight, you know what Shane did? Shane said, I'm gonna fight a guy, but I don't want a belt now. But I can't do that because all the fighters starting to do that. But it was just something, even like with the Diego Corrales fight, I really won that fight and won the IBF. I won the
They stripped him though before, or he gave it up or whatever.
Yeah. So if we want to get technical about it, I done won more than 8 world championships. We somewhere around 11, honestly. But it is what it is.
Floyd, how much has toppling top Mexican fighters defined chapters of your career?
Once again, I don't look at what a fighter is.
But there have been key moments in your career.
Once again, I don't look at what a fighter is. When he's in front of me, he's just a fighter. Hey, I don't look at him and say, you know what, this guy is a Mexican, this guy's a black fighter. I'm not going to say African American because I was born in America, so I'm an American. So if he's a black fighter, he's a white fighter. If he's a Mexican, to me, once again, they're just fighters. But one thing I can say about Mexico, they produce some legendary champions, and the history of boxing in Mexico is truly amazing.
What kind of reaction are you expecting there?
It really doesn't matter to me. I know who I am as a person, and no one can tell me different.
Floyd,
do
do
you think-
you worry about the sport after you retire, given that you're the number one fighter, and that you really, there's not a whole lot of people that people talk about the way they talk about you, and do you feel pressure to actually carry that sort of number one fighter thing with you into the ring, and as much as the fighter yourself?
I think the sport of boxing will live on. Would we ever see another Floyd Mayweather? We'll just have to see, hopefully. Hopefully. But I'm just mad because none of my sons going into box. You know, my sons, they like, you know, one of my sons like to design video games. The other one, you know, they skateboard now. I said, you know, in my era, we never seen no black skateboarders, but times have changed.
How was the hand that you had injured, not injured, but the hand that you hurt, dinged up against Guerrero?
Well, actually,
How was that?
we got, you know, we went to 3 different doctors, got 3 different X-rays, 3 different opinions, and everything is great. You know, actually after the Guerrero fight, my hand was this big, so you know, I'm glad. You know.
Does it feel okay, even though they say there's no?
You know, I got a hand therapist. I got a hand therapist anyway. Everything is great. You know, I haven't had a chance to go to the boxing gym and use it, and it's so crazy that every time I go to the boxing gym just to, you know, look at the young fighters just, you know, up and coming. You know, it makes me think back from when I first started. But I always give them advice. You know, when I used to be in the boxing gym with Mike Tyson, you know, I wish he would have put me to the side and gave me some advice. But sometimes we learn different things on our own, and I learned things on my own.
Advice about anything in particular?
No, just about about how to handle certain situations. I learned everything basically on my own.
Canelo, when we talked to him earlier, he mentioned about the whole catchweight at 152, saying, and I have his quote, that he never, contrary to what we said, he never asked for 152 as something that you asked. Can you clarify your stance?
Can I answer that?
Go ahead.
Okay, he's a lie. Okay, his representation, his manager, the first time we ever heard of this was through the press. Okay, so if he's allowing his management to speak and he's not authorizing them to do that, that's on him. So the first time that Team Mayweather ever heard of this catchweight situation was when his manager, Reynoso, trainer, put it out. Okay.
Well, the thing I look at it like this, he's not forced to do nothing that he don't want to do. You know, if he wants to fight, he can take it. If he don't want it, then he don't got to.
Would you have fought him at 154?
But once again, the weight is what it is. That's the only thing I can say. The weight is what it is. We can't talk about what ifs, woulda, couldas, and shouldas. The weight is what it is. You know, Leonard was the first one to tell me about what they asked for. So, you know, we went back and forth with Leonard and went back and forth negotiating with their team. Him and Al was negotiating back and forth. We finally came up, you know, we finally came up with something where both parties were happy, and then we made the fight happen.
Floyd, do you think that when you get done, do you worry that you're going to fight too long because of all the other guys who have fought too long? They've been great fighters.
No, you know, if I wanted to quit boxing today, I could, if I wanted to. But I've never really took no abuse in the sport. You know, I had a few tough battles. Out of 44 fights, I probably had 6 tough fights, if that. Probably 5 tough fights. Really, I didn't really call them super tough, but they're not like Arturo Gotti fights.
Could you name those?
Who
fights?
hit you the hardest?
Who were those 5 tough fights?
You know, Cotto was a tough. It was a tough fight.
Right. But I mean, in your mind, when you say 5,
Emmanuel Augustus was tough. Cotto was, you know, he was tough.
Castillo.
No, Castillo was not tough at all. I was fighting the media. You go back and watch the fight. Just put the TV on mute. I'm fighting the commentators. I was fighting the negative commentators.
I'm just asking who those 5 guys were.
Holy fight really wasn't tough, but he caught me with a couple good shots. Really, I don't really know. I'm just gonna say it was probably those two that I can name off the top, and probably a few other fights, but we got through it.
Floyd, do you have any pay-per-view projections?
You said boxing will live on. What role do you see yourself? You know, right now you're boxing in. What role do you see yourself playing in that?
Just helping, being a voice, speaking up. You know, sticking up for the fighters, speaking up, because I know I can see it from their vision because I'm a fighter. You know what other fighters can see, I can see because I'm a fighter, and I see the same thing, or I saw the same thing that they're coming up seeing at this particular time.
Let me touch on that too. With him being the face of the sport and also being the best fighter that's out there, he's brought in awareness to the sport that hadn't been done in quite some time.
You know what's, I don't mean to cut you off, man. You know what's so crazy? I think about sometimes, like when you see that guy, what's the Filipino kid name? Donaire. Now they want to you go on TV, they want to praise him for talking about random blood in urine tests. When we know basically Floyd Mayweather was the pioneer of this. Now you got Pacquiao talking about, you know what, I'm ready to take the test now. When you could have been took the test a long time ago. You know, I think now that you feel like when his career is his career has declined. Now it's like, okay, I'll do whatever now, so I can get that big payday. It don't matter. I'll do whatever I got to do now. And it's like, well, you had your time. You know, I mean, you had your time. Now Canelo is in that spot, and now Canelo said, you know, I'll do whatever it takes. So now we're fighting.
You're using USADA for this fight again?
Yes.
As far as the random drug testing, I know Larry, you were very upset when your fighters tested positive.
No, let's clear that up. Let me talk about him. Okay, it's just that I guess my fighter, which I feel like he should have been more disciplined as far as getting his weight down a lot earlier. Jalen Love should got his weight down a lot earlier. It was a dietary supplement. It wasn't an enhancement drugs. It was a dietary supplement to try to get those few pounds off. So, you know, was it right? Absolutely not. Do I condone it? Absolutely not. So if you're wrong, you're wrong. And you know, I'm not going to stand behind nobody that's wrong. So we got a new thing that's set up. Leonard can kind of touch on that subject and let you guys know what's going on with that situation.
Yeah, well, basically what we done, we took action internally where we're having all our fighters being tested randomly, tested 365, 24/7, all our fighters, you know, just to obviously show the seriousness of, you know, because Floyd has always been a strong advocate and a proponent for, you know, boxing being a clean sport.